Bruntz, no pressure, because you and Shafe usually take turns killing me. But advantage Shafe, because we had a very nice text exchange yesterday, so he's back in good graces. So we'll see how the rest of your segment goes. So let's start with offensive line play. If Michael Bruntz is playing the game that Nebraska is playing against Nebraska in their best version of themselves this week, what does offensive line play look like before you post your articles at 24/7 Sports?
If Nebraska plays well, what does it look like?
Yes.
Um, I mean, against Houston Christian, what does it look like? I mean, I would hope that you're imposing some will there.
Does it have anything to do with how long backs play or how they run the ball? Like, what are you looking for?
Uh, I'm looking for the size of holes like Quentin Ives ran through for that touchdown, and what Emmett did on that. I guess it was similar plays, but on his opening touchdown. I mean, you want to see big gains, and I think one of the few things that I am eager to see in this game is I'm eager to see Nelson and Mosey in more of a traditional running situation. I'm not answering your question because you asked about offensive line play, but I guess it's
I
all.
just wanted to know if those two things, if they were going to be intertwined in your.
Yeah, I think they can be. I mean, I think, and it's a fair question. I mean, I was struck by how different last week, Nebraska's backup running backs look when they catch the ball out of the backfield versus when they're just, getting handoffs. I don't know, if there's a disconnect there, if it's more of a reps thing or what, but those guys look great in space. I'm eager to see what that kind of looks like in, running between the tackles, having to make that first guy miss, inside, something like that. I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm eager to see from that group. We've talked it to death, but I mean that still continues to be, in my mind, I want to see how that looks, and I want to know where things stand before they get into Big Ten play. And I think part of it is just seeing a little bit more of Dylan just turning around, handing the ball off, and how those guys look running between the tackles and in the more traditional run game versus, catching the ball out of the backfield, which looked great. That's not a criticism by any means, but I just want to see more of it. And I mean, I know Dana wanted to get guys more reps last week, but I really hope that they are going into their depth sooner in this game to get those guys more work.
All right, let me ask you this, Brunts, on the heels of that, because I think it's important, and it's not for any other reason than I'm just curious on how people think, right? What has to happen, or is it opponent specific, where you graduate from bodies and depth versus, oh, they just have good depth, when you watch young guys kind of evolve, right? Is it opponent specific? Is there something that they do that you watch and you're like, oh, that's interesting? Like, how do you move into depth without saying, well, they played against team blank and it's not a brand? Like, what does that look like for your eval?
Well, I think you can see guys, if they're able to do things against Akron and Houston Christian that you can kind of see happening against Michigan State or Northwestern or those a Big Ten program. I
But
mean,
not Michigan.
I think Michigan's kind of become the example of that we're all using now, but I think it's got to be more than just
Oh,
that. I mean, I
okay.
think
I get it.
anybody that's left on the schedule that's not Houston Christian.
So we're still kind of holding out that Michigan could still be the caveat. So it'll be like, oh, anybody but. I get it. I
No, I mean, I'd lump them in there too. I mean, if you can do it against, because the thing is like against Cincinnati, and I know it was the first game. Like you're seeing growth, but it's kind of you still have to give it a little bit of a caveat based on the opponents in this situation. I mean, it's different going in there in the second quarter against a Big Ten team versus doing it in the late third quarter against Akron when you're already up 40 points. I mean, as much as you want to keep the foot on the gas, I think it's just human nature to be aware of what the situation is and who you're playing at that point. So I just want to see more of that. And I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day that, with some of these young backs, I kind of think back to like 2011 when you had Amir Abdullah in there for the first time. And like, it didn't always look great with him. And he was more situational, I think, in that rotation that they had. So I'm willing to be patient there. And as long as you're kind of seeing like that upward trend with those guys, I think that's okay. Michigan is waiting on the other side of Houston Christian, though. So where are they going to be by that point? I don't know. But I just want to see more of the traditional run game with those guys to get more of a sense of like, okay, is this looking better from week to week, regardless of what the opponent is?
To your point, Amir Abdullah, 42 carries for 150 yards as a freshman in 2011. So that's a very good example you just brought up there.
Interesting.
He had a kick return for a touchdown, though, right?
That's a good pull.
What's that, Bruntz?
He had a kick return for a touchdown that year too, right? Am I misremembering?
3 rushing touchdowns. Let me see if I can. Yes, he had a kick return touchdown. So he was very good on. He was very good on kick returns. He had 26 kick returns.
Is it weird? I said this to Jay. I think Moore asked me the question on Big Red Rat, or it might have been Severe's burning questions. I want to see something pop in special teams. Can I make that? Remember when we used to watch these games with Nebraska and somebody's going to get a long return.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even my bum self, it's like you want either a blocked punt, a long return. Like you just get I don't know, man. I just think I like their special teams schemes. I'm waiting to see something to the house, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that something that should happen in a game like this, Bruntz?
You would expect so.
Because they're close.
Yeah, and even there's been a couple times when like I don't know that they've like sent the house on blocks, but it's felt like they've been pretty close on that too. I mean, is that progress that 2 games into this thing we're already saying, hey, I want this to happen?
Well, you can see it getting better, right?
Right.
You can see it getting like
that's absolutely progress, though.
Yeah.
Because last year at this time we were saying, hey, can we snap the ball properly? Can we get a punt off?
You're a golfer standing on the tee that basically went from don't hit it in the lake to I'm going to put this within 10 feet and maybe back it up here.
Yeah, it's like, let me see if I can get it to check back towards the hole all of a
Right.
sudden. You're like, wait a second, that literally was not in my bag 1 year ago. So, yes, it is huge progress that we're looking for something to pop on special teams instead of looking for something that might blow up on special teams, if you understand kind of the difference there. But so I was wondering about all these things, right? We're talking about things popping on special teams, about what it might look like defensively and kind of the running backs we might want to see. Have you thought about like, and I feel like the Akron score kind of messed it up a little bit, but have you kind of thought about because I don't expect them to, I mean, maybe they'll win 68-0 or more this week. I don't really expect that just because that's a lot of things have to kind of go your way for that to end up being the number. You can really beat the hell out of somebody and it's 56-0. And I don't know if people will look at that and be like, oh, how come they didn't beat Houston Christian by as much as they beat Akron? Have you thought about like a score in your head or is it just like, are you going to have to see it and be like, yes, they played well. I don't care that it wasn't 68, that it was 56 or whatever.
Yeah, it's games like this are kind of the eye test.
Has to be, right?
Yeah. And like, what's tough, what's tough too, like, I mean, Nebraska's coaching staff has a relationship with Houston Christian's coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've done satellite camps down there. I do wonder if that kind of creeps in a little bit as well. I mean, as much as we've had the step on their neck conversation the last week, I think that probably creeps in a little bit. I mean, I would be shocked if you still had, if you weren't going to your backups in this game until the 4-minute mark of the third quarter, which I think is when Latif got in there against Akron. I mean, I think I would be very, very, very surprised if that's how Saturday plays out. If Nebraska is firmly in control, that they don't have everybody out of the game sooner than that. So I don't know. I mean, if Nebraska doesn't win 84-0, it's not like they've played worse against Houston Christian than they did against Akron. So we'll see how the game plays out. I mean, these are always tough too, because I mean, I'm trying to think. We've seen Idaho State. We've seen Bethune-Cookman. Those are the two most
What do you
recent
got
ones.
against? What do you got against the Bengals?
That it was a little rough that day. A little rough.
I'm a big Cookman guy.
Yeah,
dude.
I
mean, we had Bruntz.
I don't think we're gonna have guys buying hot dogs during the game off the sideline, but I think I don't know. We'll see how this game plays out.
Bruntz, let me ask you something. This is 100% because I think you're bright. Because and this is real time for me, so I'm just asking somebody else's perspective. What does Nebraska have to do you think, for you going forward, where we don't bring up who the opponent was? Like, so, okay, at some point, Cincinnati would be in the rearview mirror. At some point, the fact that it was Akron was in the rearview mirror. They're going to do whatever they do against Houston Christian. Does it take a couple of signature wins or against quality programs before? Because at some point when we were playing, it didn't matter if it was North Texas or Texas Tech or whomever. Like, we didn't care who they were playing. It was just on to the next thing. When do you think that happens for you?
I think you need to see it. You need to see it against. You need to see it against the. It's a signature win. I don't even like say it's a signature win. Like, you need to go into a game where you're playing a tough opponent and you need to beat that opponent. Like, I think in over multiple times. Like, I think that's kind of where we're at now, because I read the comments. I shouldn't read the comments. I read the comments. But that's what I see a lot with people is, well, let's do it against Michigan. Let's do it against, X team. I think that's the hurdle. Because I mean, even had Matt Rhule say it. I mean, that's, last week, that's how it's supposed to look. I mean, it's this week, it's got to look similar from their perspective, I think. But I think to kind of not have to have that caveat, you need to kind of go out and do it against an opponent that, kind of gets you to sit up in your seat a little bit. So I think that's probably what the next step is, to where you stop kind of doing the well butt thing with who you're playing. I think I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a pretty common thought that's out there right now.
You understand why I asked the question?
Yeah, I do.
I just want to at some point we'll move on from it where we don't have to couch it.
I think it's the seeing them, and I agree with Bruntz that you have to win some of the games against better opponents. But I think what it is for me is seeing them execute at a high level against everybody. Right? So you say, okay, they executed at a really high level for the most part against Akron. And you go, okay, I like that. I think they executed at a pretty high level against Cincinnati, especially for an opener. Now, it looks different, but I think they executed at a high level. I expect them to execute at a high level against Houston Christian, and that's what I'm going to be looking at more than whether it's 77-0 or 56-0 or whatever, right? And then Michigan comes along, right? But it's not just Michigan for me. Like, I want to see it against Michigan. I want to see it at Minnesota on a weird Friday night game. Like, I need to see the level of execution be more consistent across the board. And then I feel like we can stop saying, or at least have something to combat the argument of, it's like, well, it's Akron, or well, it's Houston Christian. That's what it is for me.
That's fair. I mean, I think that's, yeah. I mean, like if you can go, when you can get into Big Ten play and you have, like you can hang your hat on the fact that you're going to play like a certain way to a certain standard and not have these games that just kind of leaves you scratching your head a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, because even I don't think this happens as much with some of like the mid-tier teams in the Big Ten, but I mean, against those teams, even like you need to play at a consistent level and a consistent standard, and that's been Nebraska's issue for over a decade. Is how do you win the games that you're supposed to win? And to your point, Ravi, I think you're right. It's, you play play a certain way and with a certain consistency in those games, and Nebraska just hasn't done that with enough regularity.
Yeah, we just want to know what to expect, right? Like,
yeah,
we want to be able to count on something, be like, hey, I know the running game's going to do this, and I know Dylan's going to do this, and I know the defense, I like the secondary. I feel like we might maybe are starting to feel that with the secondary a little bit. Like, hey, I know they're probably not going to target Sierra Wright very much, right? That's probably not a thing people are going to do most of the year. I think that's just, we want, like, there's little bits that we feel like maybe we can count on here and there, but if we can get that to be the more pervasive sentiment of the entire team, I think we'll stop talking about opponents as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At some point, Bruntz, you know what I'm gonna need you to do is just to tell me to chill the heck out, regardless of who they're playing, because it's a very fluid, moving target, and I should get over myself. I mean, that's really what I expect from, a Bruntzian type response.
I didn't tell you, I saw a 5-pound bag of gummy bears at the store yesterday, Damon. I almost bought it.
Was it Albany's, Haribo? What was the brand?
It was a white bag.
It's Albany's.
Yeah, it was. I had a coupon, a 30% off one full price item at CVS. It was gonna be your gummy bears. I might actually go back.
Why am I not? So clearly you have a lot of patience and high aptitude, because who has the patience to read through a CVS coupon? They're roughly 7 to 8 feet long with a ton of words. Like,
yeah.
How do you know?
Well, they send them to your email now.
Dude. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get like.
Have you not seen those things?
No, I know. Yeah, it's like if you needed to like sneak out of a second-story window with those things, you could do it pretty easily.
Maybe you. But no, I don't trust the structural integrity on those things.
I almost pulled the trigger on it, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with 5 pounds of gummy bears until Saturday. So
I'm going to play this game with Ravi tomorrow, and I'm going to give him a precursor. Bruntz. Most likely to happen on your FanDuel account. Nebraska has a touchdown of 60 yards or more, a defensive score, or a special team score.
Well, I already know my answer.
I think defensive score.
I already know my answer.
Really? Ravi? No, we'll save it.
Save it for tomorrow.
Okay. When was the last time Nebraska had a 60-yard score? How long has it been?
Dude, it might have been recently. It might have been a mirror.
The Trey Palmer.
I'm looking.
60 plus. Well, the Iowa pass was that 60? No, Purdue.
I think Purdue, he might have had a 60.
The last time Nebraska had a 65-yard run was Trey Palmer.
Good pull.
Josh Fleeks went 74 against Michigan in the bright spot that year.
Yeah,
and
got out.
A lot of stuff happened in that Purdue game, the Trey Palmer game. So that was the last 60-yard pass, was Casey Thompson to Trey Palmer.
How are you just,
Trey's down there somewhere.
I was going to say, how are you pulling this up so fast? But I asked you that a year ago, and you gave me the very infamous, there's this new search. You know what I did? Do you want to know what I did? I Googled.
Yeah. I had the game notes open. I was just looking. No, those were the last. Those were the last ones. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
That's our guy, Michael Bruntz, Husker247. Bruntz, appreciate it as always. Enjoy the game this weekend.
Yep. We'll see you guys.